father was an alcoholic and he didn't like it actually that we were at home. I didn't drink alcohol, I don't use drugs. Even people think I do all the time.
If you live such a cheap life, don't go traveling, what do you say to the people that are giving comments like this on the platform? Today I bumped into a person who traveled for 45 years. Now, normally I talk to a lot of different people in one video, but because it's such an interesting character, we are just dedicating this video to our new friend. It's going to be an interesting conversation. I hope you're excited.
I've been 1 month here in Vietnam, but I've been many times in Asia. And Vietnam is amazing. I thought completely different about it. In a few days we go to Cambodia, then to Laos and then to Thailand.
Nice. So you're backpacking at the moment.
Yep.
Yeah. Have you been backpacking before? Like
Yeah.
Any times?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since I was 13.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What makes you travel so much?
To meet local people usually. To try to meet local people.
Yeah.
But before it was much more easier than now.
Why is that?
I think because of the mobile phones everywhere. I've been 15 times in India. I've been a few times in Thailand, Malaysia, everywhere, and for me, since the introduction of these phones, it's changed totally. If you look at the people now, even when it's a football game, 80% is on their mobile phone playing games, and when there is some cheering on the screen, they look. Oh, okay.
So it's a different world we live in.
I'm 58, so I know.
I'm born in 1990.
Yeah, so you're born with this thing.
Pretty much, yeah. But I also see that it's probably nicer before.
I think for me, because before I traveled a lot alone, but you never were alone. If you travel now alone, it's much more difficult to meet people. Even in guest houses in the morning, it's quiet. Everybody's looking on his phone. Everybody. Before, everybody was talking to everybody, but it's finished.
Where have you been? You mentioned Thailand, or you've been a lot to India, you're saying, but Southeast Asia?
Most of the time it was like Singapore and Malaysia and Thailand for a few months, and then I jumped to Australia or to New Zealand, like this.
I've done the same thing. I've done like a year or two in Australia, New Zealand. Now I'm still backpacking in a way, but a little bit different. I've got a small suitcase on me this time, you know.
I've only like 5 kilo.
Okay.
All my life I have 5 kilo, and even those 5 kilo is even 2.5 kilo too much, I think.
So what's that, like a few shirts, some underwear?
No, just one shirt I have.
Oh.
Yeah, and every few days, like everywhere is laundry now. You just bring your clothes in, you wait for 3 hours in your underwear somewhere, and you get it back. It's clean.
Yeah, true. You don't need a lot of things. No, true.
Friends of me, they went for 1 month to Vietnam. And the girl had 25 underwears with her. Every day another one. She didn't want to wash. I said, you don't have to wash, you just bring it somewhere. I have a mosquito net. That's for me the most important.
What's the plan for a regular day? What are you doing today, let's say?
I was on my way to get something to drink and go back to my girlfriend because she's waiting for me, and then change some money.
Okay.
The man from the hostel say you have to go to a jewelry just behind here.
Okay.
He give very good rate. We're walking around looking for some nice street food, because we're always looking for special street food.
Okay. How long are you traveling this time?
4 months.
How do you do that with work and all that?
I don't work anymore.
No.
It's funny, because I just was in Finland in the newspaper with the whole story of my life.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
In Europe, I travel with a new Suzuki Jimny. That's why I travel in Europe around.
Yeah.
And here, I just sometimes rent a motorcycle or just public transport.
I've backpacked myself as well for many years. But how do you do it for the people who don't understand a backpack? How do you do this? Are you always on holiday?
Yeah, actually yes.
Yeah.
Since I stopped working when I was 40, but I live a simple life. I don't drink beer, I don't use drugs, I don't gamble. I met already some crazy guys when I'm traveling. I met one guy. He was from Holland anyway, and he had like a few thousand bitcoins, and he was. Just sitting on the beach. It was like 25 years. He won them with some games when he was young, and every night he was drunk. Every day he was drunk. But I think it doesn't gonna make his 50.
Why are you telling this story? The guy that
some people do it with bitcoins, traveling all their life, because he was not working anymore.
Then again, you're saying you live quite simple.
I live very simple.
But still, you need at least, let's say, especially in Southeast Asia, I would say, and you can argue this, maybe 600-700 euros per month. You can do it with less, of course. But I mean,
we do it with like maybe 600 for 2 persons.
Okay. So that's very basic.
Very basic, yeah. We only eat street food.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now we sleep for 250, but we have already like rooms for 120. When my wife died about 10 years ago, she was sick for 10 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we had we had a good house, and I sold it. And then I bought a house in the south of my country. So I do it with the money that I collect from my house. But I know people, if you're a bit good in trading, some people, they have just a laptop and they trade every day a little bit and they can make money. I didn't do nothing with trading or whatever, but I just, but you don't need much money. And I had a choice. When my wife died, I could buy a Ferrari, but then 14 days, and then I broke it, I think. I just live simple. I've been this year in like, my girlfriend, she was counting. Yeah. We've been in Georgia by car, Turkey, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark. Yeah. I did this year already like 22,000 kilometers. And we sleep in the car.
Yeah, yeah. And so now here, what's your plan in Vietnam?
We just came from north to south slowly, and we are not like we want to see everything. Okay. We just relax and see what's come on our path. Yeah. So
live an easy life.
Yeah, easy. Okay. Yeah, because the woman who gave me this shirt, she was a month ago in Vietnam, the one with the 20 underwears. And she spent like 7,000 euro in 1 month in Vietnam. But she did like every tour what's possible. Yeah. Now you pay like 180 euro, 200 euro, then it goes fast. But then she's like every time in the morning, 7 o'clock we pick you up. She came home and she was tired. Every day she planned something because she has only 1 month holiday. Yeah. And then people want to get the most out of 1 month holiday. And I think that's, it's for everybody different.
Yeah, I think most of the people, they don't admire to travel for such a long time. They just want to go on holiday and then you can splash it. Yeah. Everyone to themselves.
Yeah, everybody, My favorite is a sailboat, but I don't have the money for a sailboat.
Yeah. Even if I had the money, I wouldn't be able to sail, but that sounds like a dream, yeah. 45 years traveling.
Yes.
You started when you were 13.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, what happened when you were 13? How come you were in the position you were traveling? Were you, was it needed to travel? Or?
It was actually like a kind of escape because I have very bad parents.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Father was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And he didn't like it actually that we were at home. So the first time I was 13 and I said I go away. And I was away for 3 months. Okay. And at that time there was no mobile phone, no GPS, there was nothing. I just had in my head the map of Europe. So I wanted to go to Spain. I was hitchhiking, of course, because I had not much money. A truck driver stopped.
Okay.
And I asked him, Spain? And he nodded yes. I get in and I fell asleep in his car. A few hours later I wake up, but then you see a big sign, Bienvenuto Italia. So I walked and hitchhiked along that road. And it took me 5 days to get into Spain. Yeah. On the way, because I didn't have luggage, many times when I saw laundry hanging out, I swapped my t-shirt for a clean t-shirt, and even my underwear sometimes I swapped for a clean one.
So this is when you were 13 years old?
13 years.
Wow.
Yeah. But at that time, the world was different. Along the Mediterranean, bakeries and small grocery shops, they left everything outside. They just put a cloth over it to protect it from dust or whatever. Yeah. So if I needed apple, I could steal an apple.
Wow. There must be a point in your life where you were working as well, probably when you were maybe 15, 16 years old, you were working. How did you manage to travel and to keep your budget this way that you were actually able to travel?
Because I didn't drink alcohol, I don't use drugs, even people think I do all the time. I don't gamble. And if you ask to people all over the world to help you, 99% will say yes, easy. Especially if you're a child. Of course, you have to be careful because I had a lot of gay men who try to lure me in as well.
Wow.
Yeah. If you're hitchhiking and the man say, look at the dog, if I say bite you, he will bite you, so now you're going to listen to me.
Wow.
And then he put his hand on my lap once.
No.
And I say, no problem, man, I like man, no, don't worry. But then at the next traffic light, I jumped out of the car. Things like this I did,
Wow.
So it's not only girls that try to lure in, it's also men. Now it doesn't happen so much anymore. And then I'm 13, I come home after 3 months, and I was a bit afraid, maybe my father gonna be angry, because I was away for 3 months. He didn't hear nothing of me for 3 months, because There was nothing at that time. But then he said like, oh, you're back already. Something like this. And then I said, okay, next year I go longer. The sad thing about my life, I was always in border school. Till I was 13, there was no border school anymore. Then my father said, you can live with me, but you have to pay to live with me.
Wow.
So he gave us a job because he was a pastry cook.
Yeah.
So every weekend, when we were at home, we worked 2 times 12 hours, so 24 hours in a weekend.
Okay. Yeah.
For that, I get like, at that time, €2, but my father took half because we lived with him. We were 13 years old.
But that's tough. I can imagine that was sometimes also lonely and sad.
Yeah, I was lonely and sad because, but another thing, it made me like what I am now. Because I had always a little bit of money, not much, but I had money.
Yeah.
Because it took the half, so the other half, it was for me. So it was like something like €20 now every weekend I had.
Yeah.
But I have also to pay for my food at home.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's still, you were still a child. But
Yeah.
so many years later, can you say you're happy?
I'm happy. In one way, I didn't like always my childhood because I think I missed a lot of things like a normal child. But in the other way, I never in my life had money problems because I spent the money that I have and I don't spend what I don't have. Or what I think a lot of people spend money, they think what they're going to have in a few weeks. But that's not sure.
Yeah.
And if you always live like in front, I think it's not correct.
No, okay. But then we talk about money, and I think we both know that money doesn't make people happy. Maybe not enough money can make you unhappy, I believe. But talk about happiness. Are you loose from the financial situation that you're in? Are you a happy person?
Yeah, yeah, I know. I took a risk because I sold my house. Now it's about 10 years ago, I think I sold it. Yeah. And I know I have money till I'm 68. The good thing is I still have a house now because I sold my house, I bought another house, I restored it. And so I still have like...
You're a handyman also then.
Yeah.
Can you teach us something? Let's say what you learned over all these years of traveling, seeing the world.
Live today. Don't put your things like in... When I'm 65, when I was 18, my friend immigrated to Australia. And I went visiting him because he started at a chocolate factory. And I met a lot of people, 65 years old, on pension, doing all those expensive things like big hotels, big touristic trips, a lot of things they did. But they were complaining about it's too hot, it's too dit, it's too that, it's always something. The older you get, I think, not for everybody, but the older you get, the more issues they're coming when you're traveling. Okay. If you're young and you don't sleep for 1 or 2 nights, it's no problem. Yeah. But if you're 60 and you don't sleep for 2 nights, it's going to be a big problem. And if you're 65, I think more problem. But I think just live, how you say it, carpe diem, live the day.
Live the day, yeah.
Because tomorrow you never know.
How about the ultimate travel story? Do you have one story that you can share with us?
I like New Zealand a lot. I was cycling in New Zealand from South to North Island.
Oh, wow.
And I cycled in Australia, also Tasmania. Wow. In America I cycled because on a bicycle it really costs nothing. In America I was cycling and everywhere people selling fruit or food along the street in America. And I just stop and I like talking to people and I start talking and then they give me some food and I ask how much you have to pay. And what do you think they say?
Nothing.
You're just a nice guy. Hey, man, cycle on, no problem. You don't have to pay. I was 2 months and a half cycling from Miami South to New York with $500 US.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's insane. And another thing what's insane.
But you think that's also insane?
Yeah, but it's done. It's doable.
Yeah, yeah.
Another
you don't need. That's what I also my message also to my friends back home and whoever is watching now. That you don't need a lot of money to go on holiday, to travel, to backpack.
Especially now with that couch surfing thing and welcome to my garden thing. I say that's a good thing about these phones and the internet. You can find a lot of cheap places to stay. And if you're a bit inventive, it works. In the States, there was something stupid. I go to McDonald's in the States and I ask, can I have some water for free? Just water. You say no. But then I ask, can I have some ice cube for free? Because everybody was taking ice cubes. So they say, yeah, you can have ice cube for free. So what's ice cubes? It's just frozen water. And it's outside, it's 35 degrees, so you fill 1 gallon, one of those big gallon things, you fill it with ice cubes, and you have cold
You've done this one?
Yeah, I did it all the time. If you're cycling, you need water. You don't need Coca-Cola, because then you need more, but you need water.
So I've got a friend who is living a budget life, not even that extreme as you were mentioning, nothing like that, nothing close to that. But he also is on social media, on YouTube, and he gets some people that are saying like, yeah, you are a cheapskate, and if you live such a cheap life, don't go traveling. What do you say to the people that are giving comments like this on the platform?
I was a chocolate maker before.
Oh, okay.
So I know a lot of rich people. They never want to live like I live. But it's in your life, usually you have money, but you don't have the time. I don't have much money, but I have time. I say to those guys, one day you're gonna die, so make the best out of it. Just do whatever you like and don't listen to others, don't judge other people, just let everybody do what they want. I must say, if everybody lives like I live, the world economy goes like this. Because I almost buy nothing. How many people sleep every night in the park? And I even see people coming, like if they're coming late night, like last night, some people with suitcases, they came at 11:30 into the park, and then they have to pay for that night normally, if you check in. And they say, what, we just stay one night in the park? They are with 4 or 5, they're going to grab some beers, they're sitting there chatting to each other, and they wait till 8 in the morning and then they check in, so they save a night. I was before alone, but if you're with a group, it's much more safer, because that's another thing, it's safety. If you sleep on the street, it's possible, but you have to be careful.
Yeah, of course.
In America, when I was cycling, I always went to some people who live on the street, and I asked them, hey, can I stay one night with you around? They say, what the fuck? Who are you? So yeah, I'm from Belgium. I start talking to them. I'm cycling. I don't have much money. I just want to stay with you, just for safety. They say it's not safe here. I say yeah, but it's safer with you than I'm alone somewhere.
And so, you did that.
Yeah.
And they are like happy to have you.
Yeah.
You're gonna carry on backpacking for much longer, right?
Yeah, still I die, I think. I do it since I was 13.
Do you have a message to the world or some wisdom to pass on? Take it away.
We can't change history, but we can change the history of tomorrow. And I wish everybody a good life, and whatever you do, enjoy it. Do nothing that you don't enjoy.
Great.
That's what I say.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
If you want to know more about his story, I leave a link in the description. This channel is based in Thailand. We're showing you the beauty of Southeast Asia, and we're meeting a lot of interesting people along the way, and I think we did meet a very interesting person, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you all for watching till the very end. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year already. I would like to say from Ho Chi Minh City, bye for now and stay tuned.